Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Chimmel, the GOAT of ring announcers. And you're listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.
Oh, good. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined tonight by the Blue Blazer. Take the damn mask off.
Well, you know why I'm wearing this mask, right?
In celebration of, the first day of fall.
No, the anniversary of CMLL, like you brought up and you told me.
82 years ago. 82 years ago.
I'll take off the mask.
Oh. So we went from the Blue Thunder Bomb to the, Gold Dust. Now you look like somebody
like Gerard right now.
Now you look like somebody who I told you today.
So that's what he's doing before the show.
So today is also the 20th anniversary of Rocco Rock's passing away.
Oh, you say it so happily. The 20th anniversary of Rocco Rock passing away.
It doesn't seem like that long ago.
Yeah, it does.
No. Well, see, for you youngins, 20 years is 20 years ago.
Yeah, it is 20 years ago. That's half my life ago.
You listen, you were still looking at the Sears catalog.
I was fucking 19, you old bastard. Jesus.
Like I said, you still had the Sears catalog.
Most of the viewers that watch the show don't even know what the fuck the Sears catalog was.
Okay. J.C. Penney, I don't know.
Victoria's Secret, thank you very much. Welcome to the Marks Podcast. I am Dan, joined by my wonderful co-host, Gerard Millette. Jacob is on assignment cooking salmon. So, I watched a lot of wrestling this last couple days. Before I go into my tirade, what do you think? First off, what do you think of WrestlePalooza, which they were trying to make out to be this fucking grand experience of a lifetime, but it's only seconded to WrestleMania?
I'd like to smooch the devil. That's my line of the night. I'd like to smooch the devil.
Fucking Wade Barrett.
Okay. Now, the show to me itself, it had some highs, it had some lows, but it did flow between them. Okay?
I'll be honest with you, the Uso match I could have done without. I took a nap. I took a fucking nap during the Uso match.
My thing is, and I'm hoping you understand this, glorified house shows instead of PLEs are what they should be calling these. Because have I seen house shows that are better than their PLEs? Absolutely. Okay. What I want to say about it is the fact of the most inexpensive ticket last night was $192 for a premium live event for the first time ever being broadcast in conjunction with ESPN.
I would say the production levels were great, but you're right. And something we've been harping on, hence the reason the thumbnail is what it is, con versus con. I mean, we're sitting here at a time where, and I know you said it this way, but I don't say I miss him. I don't miss Vince, but I miss Vince's practices as far as taking care of the fans.
Listen, and I'm gonna tie it into something with that in a minute. But first, let's go with, because you bring up the name, let's start with the opening of last night's show. Beautifully produced to go back to where, because you think about it, ESPN did start right around the exact same time Vince McMahon got control of the company. Okay? Almost like the start of MTV. For all you kids who don't know what MTV is, ask your parents.
Well, before it became a show about teenage pregnancy and the fucking Jersey Shore, yeah.
you had ESPN, MTV, and WWE. The only difference was WWE was able to do business with MTV. ESPN had AWA.
Yeah.
Now, once again, for all you people out there who don't know what AEWA is, talk to your parents. They'll know.
It was the American Wrestling Association. It was run by a man named Vern Gagne for years. He was the pinnacle. Let's be honest. You would not have the Hulk Hogan's. You would not have the Ric Flairs. He trained Ric Flair.
Think of the name.
Huh?
Kurt Hennig. The Road Warriors. Ric Flair. Ravishing Rick Rude. Scott Hall. Okay. It was almost the feeder system.
It was Larry Zbyszko. Stan Hansen went through that territory. Tito, huh? I would have not have been surprised if the Green Bastard had gone through there at some point.
But
Parts unknown.
But the AWA every day at 4:00 had a show on ESPN. And that was huge for a regional place just to have a show. And basically for ESPN, it was a free time filler.
It was huge. It was huge.
But the way they did the opening last night to tie it all in together and stuff like that, I thought were very well done. And to have it start by showing Vince in his godly yellow outfit,
Speaking of yellow outfits, showing Vince in a pissed yellow outfit. Our first match was Brock Lesnar versus John Cena.
Listen. I think the opening segment took longer than the match.
Yeah,
and
But before we get to that, what do you think about that? Because I have my theories, and I'll express that in a second. But what did you think about the match going so quick?
It went longer than I expected. It actually went longer than expected. Here's my problem. I don't want to see Cena finish off his career against Brock Lesnar. I don't want to see it. But that's what they just set up.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Who is there who's a more credible threat?
Or not credible threat to pass the torch.
Who does he need? Who's left? Who does he need to pass the torch on to? The guys that he would pass on the torch to would be Jacob Fatu, Braun Breaker, someone along those lines. He's not going to do it to Roman. At the end of the day, this is
where the hell has Gunther been?
He's supposed to be coming back. He had surgery on his nose, I believe.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Gunther doing something again. John Cena doing something like that for Gunther. I'm going to give an example. I think would be huge.
Okay. So does it mean more if he comes back? His first of his last 4 appearances is him beating Brock?
I'm saying I don't need to
and
be.
And then he was Gunther?
I'm saying I think Brock is his last one. And if it's his last one, so he walks out beating Brock Lesnar, he left nothing. He leaves nothing. Listen, I don't want to see him beat Randy Orton. I don't want to.
Okay. I want you to hear me out, okay? He put over Solo Sikoa. He put over fucking Austin Theory. He lost to The Undertaker. He's lost to Brock. He lost, remember, for over 3,000 days or something like that they were talking about before his last win, because he would basically show up, build up a match, and lose. And so this is one of the cases where I would have no problem if Cena walked off with a W.
He lost to Cody.
Yeah.
Okay. My thing is, on his very last match, don't you want to be remembered? And now, when I say the very last one, I'm talking about a screwball finish, a legal screwball finish, a quick pin that gets him done, where he's just looking at the guy, and the guy just looking at him like, gotcha. Something like that, to where they have this beautiful 25-minute match and a schoolboy roll-up 1, 2, 3, and Cena kicks out at the 4 count. He's not laying down the mat. He gets up, grabs the guy's hand, shakes the guy's hand, a la Hogan Rock, the guy who won, jumps out of the ring. Here you go, Cena. It's yours.
Well, and I get where you're coming from, but with everything Cena's done, and again, I'm not the biggest John Cena fan, but I can't believe I'm saying this. I think he's earned the right to walk out with a W. I think that he's taken a beating. He's done, where a lot of people used to criticize The Rock for leaving in the prime of his career, which he did. John didn't. John, yes, John's gone off to do movies. John's done this. John did Peacemaker, all this other stuff. But for the most part, when they came calling, John was there. So why not let him just have that? Fuck. They did it for Sting.
And my other thing is when John left, the people who took over for John didn't take over in the best of ways.
No.
This time here, when he goes, the company's in much better hands.
Well, we could agree to disagree on that, but yeah, sure.
I'm not talking about behind the scenes.
Okay.
I'm talking about the guys that are in the ring. I think there's more talent now than there was in 2015 when he walked.
No doubt about it.
That's what I mean. The talent level that's there today, when he can look and say, hey, I can walk away knowing I'm leaving this place in much better position than I did 10 years ago. Not only in the front where fans can see, behind the scenes too. Okay? I'm not going to go into the monetary part of it because, nobody goes to a job saying, hey, I want to make less. My thing about it is the fact of TKO has their way of running business and Triple H has his way of running business. And those two are clashing right now.
Do you know that for sure? Again, we can't speculate on that. We can assume, but we can't.
I'm saying those two are clashing right now because you can't sit there and tell me that he doesn't have a thing to where he wants to be able to say to TKO, guys, asking a family of four to spend $1,000.
I don't think it's that deep for him. I think Triple H runs the booking. I think that's where it starts and stops. I don't think he's Vince. I don't think he's to a point where he's. I get the biggest misconception is he's not the fucking CEO. He's the head of creative. He has nothing to do.
What I'm saying is, I think there's something in because I think there's still something in him that says, hey, because he's so close with Nick Khan, I still believe there's something in him that says we've got to keep this affordable. And we're asking a family of four to spend $1,000 to come to one of our shows. $1,000 to come to a show. Listen, the only other place I know that could be that expensive for 4 tickets is Fenway Park in Boston. Okay.
I'm gonna say this. That match, I think, went exactly how it needed to. You needed Brock. And at the end of the match, you see kids crying in the audience. Great shot.
One thing, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, fucking Paul Heyman. That was great. That gave us closure to what happened Friday night. And then when he leaves, he pours his heart out to the audience and says, I do this for you. I'm doing this last thing for you. And I thought that was great. When's the last time we had a guy come out and say, I'm doing one more year and you're going to come along with the ride? And we've had so many ups and downs. John has had, a great match after great match. The heel side of it was not that great. But he's really been for me, not being a fan of John Cena, I've enjoyed this last year, not because I'm ready for him to go, but because it's been a wonderful fucking trip.
With what you saw last night, okay? With the emotion. That wasn't fake emotion. That was true, raw emotion coming out.
I hope it was. I hope that he's really feeling the weight of the fact that he has four more fucking appearances left.
He has 4 shows left. I know Boston, Madison Square Garden, Washington, D.C. Where's the 4th one? Oh, yeah. Perth, Australia. So, the United States, we don't see him again until November. We do not see John Cena again until November. We'll see him.
You think they might do another fucking extension or something like that to get him a couple more days?
No, because when he's telling you himself how many dates he gets left, he's not going to go back on that unless he decides to come out and say, guys, I decided to say, you know what? I'm not missing another Monday Night Raw.
Well, I mean, I don't reason I say that so like you can tell a good story, right? You can't tell a good story, I think, in four appearances, but
which means he's out of Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Okay, that means he's out of Survivor Series.
Yep.
He's going to Australia. I don't know if he's ever been there before.
Well, that they've been showcasing him being there.
That's why I don't know if he's ever been there before. So this would be his only time he's ever gone there. There's so much part of the wrestling world that probably never saw him, that would never see him go to their country. Come hook or by crook, that last show in December at Washington, D.C., that's his last show. So people got to understand, he has 4 shows left that you get to enjoy him. I could give a crap if Gilbert came out against him right now.
I think that he's done a good job. I look forward to seeing where we go with it. I enjoyed the match for what it was. I do think it should be Brock and him as his last match because that's his greatest rival, not The Rock, not Punk. It's always been Brock. Brock has been his greatest adversary. I mean, he even changed his finisher. Remember, it was he made the finisher the attitude adjustment was the FU, which they brought it up on commentary. It used to be the FU because it was a dig at Brock. You know, we talked about it before. They've even said it. There would be no John Cena if Brock didn't leave, and he took that role and he carried it. He did a great job for what it was. He got the kids over. I thought it was real nice him having the kids come out with him at the entrance. Yeah, but I thought it was well done. I think this is also a way for him to get some rest in between because that Cody match, man, he fucking that and the Logan Paul match, he took a beating in those matches, and might be some time to just do filming whatever he has to film and just fucking relax a little bit.
And that's why I'm saying we have 4 shows left. You'll get 1 match in Australia, and you'll have 1 match in Saturday's main event. The Boston show and the Madison Square Garden show, are they just for microphone work? Because they're just mic work shows. I could do without one of the 2 if you're going to let him wrestle at Survivor Series.
Again, this is what I'm saying. We might get him more than those 4 appearances. We might.
But then that would be something he'd have to say, hey, listen, by seeing the reaction of the fans, I'll give you guys more dates. I'll do it myself. And he comes out on the microphone and says that. I'll give you more dates.
That'll put him over even more, especially with the way money is in this company. But also, they're not.
Huh? Hey, listen. If you have a stadium 1,500 tickets short, those 1,500 tickets are gone.
Yeah.
If you have merchandise, if his merchandise, it's not really selling because he's not going to be on the card, it will be out the door. But because even though right now he's not in some of these buildings, his merchandise is still flying off the shelf.
Well, and again,
we don't have. Hey, I do not believe in any way, shape, or form that WWE has a money-making problem right now.
No, but they have an issue with the fucking shoving shit down her throat, and that leads me to our second match. It was the Usos, Jimmy and Jay reuniting to bring back the Uso Penitentiary against the Bronze, which was Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And I was
going to say, did you catch LA Knight telling Jimmy or Jay
Spear
not to go back into the ring yet?
Oh yeah, but he's not a ref. So I get the fucking mistakes. He also said spear. When he walked over to Braun, he said spear. I didn't care for this match. I don't care for I like LA Knight, yeah, but I don't care for the involvement of him. I was bored. I took a nap. She'll tell you she was working on a bookshelf. I took a fucking nap during this match.
If it had ended like I had told you it ended, it would have brought some excitement to it.
Do I think the right guys won? Yes. Yes.
I think LA Knight should have got involved, though. I think he should have got involved.
For what? What does it do?
Puts him with them. Just because we got to start setting up Survivor Series already.
I'm tired. I'm kind of glad that they set it up like this because if you have fucking the Usos out, I'm glad. I'm good because I'm tired of fucking bloodlines it has become their match. It's and they're not nearly as over and talented as what I would consider the 4 Horsemen were, where they should be in it every fucking year. You remember back in the day, it was the Horsemen every year in the fucking War Games because whoever could beat the piss out of the 4 Horsemen. I don't need to see Roman and I don't need to see Jimmy and Jay in the fucking War Games again. I'm over it.
Well, let's go back to Tuesday night. and William Regal coming out, and Sean and Hunter in the ring.
War Games.
My thing about that was this. I would love to see a War Games match where Hunter picks his guys and Sean picks his guys. That's it. I think that'd be cool where Hunter says, okay, I'm going to pick mine. Sean's going to pick his.
But if that's the case, the NXT needs to win that match because if they don't, they lose credibility.
No. Sean picks his 5 guys and Hunter picks his 5 guys all in NXT. So it wouldn't be main roster.
So it wouldn't be a main roster thing.
No. Just because of the way he goes, there's only one way to settle this. That's a War Game. So let Hunter pick his 5 from NXT, and Sean picks his 5 from NXT.
Fair.
And then those 10 guys go at it.
No, I could dig it, but shit, do they have enough talent to do that? I mean, I'm sorry, fucking NXT has been lacking. Other than the women's division, the women's division's killing it as always.
You just took the words out of my mouth. I never said, and Rigo never said it had to be men.
Okay.
I think there's enough woman talent in NXT to where you could do a War Games match with women.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Now, I will also say this. Look, I'm going to glaze over this second match because it wasn't worth shit to me. I didn't care.
Hey, we just did a good segue for the women.
Absolutely. Because the match that came up next, I was at the seat of the edge of my chair the whole match. I was looking forward to this. Is the whole reason. I like Punk, I like AJ, but this was the reason I was waiting for this WrestlePalooza. This is the reason I made sure that I had fucking ESPN. That I had it already, but I had to upgrade like $4 or $5 more because apparently I had ESPN Premium. I didn't have ESPN Unlimited, so I had to get Unlimited to make sure I could see this match. And damn it, I wasn't disappointed. We're talking about Stephanie Vicaire as Primera versus the Genius of the Sky, Io Sky. What I would consider one of, if not the best talent in the world right now, and women or men, Io Sky, killing it.
The one thing I like about this match, and I think I hope you understand this when I say it. It started off slow. Yeah. They were going tit for tat. No pun intended.
Of course you would say that.
And then it picked up. No outside interference in this match. No outside interference. It was clean. The women did what they needed to do. Stephanie had her moment with her dad. I thought that was great.
You're laughing because Wade Barrett said I would have kissed the devil. Innuendo, he wanted to kiss her ass, which blows my fucking mind because how Wade Barrett could say that with fucking her dad literally 5 feet away from him. I like Wade, but damn, man. Damn.
Listen, he just said what every red-blooded American would say at that
That's
moment.
not true. Say what you want. I'm not watching wrestling for that. I swear, I am not watching wrestling for that.
When he said it to yourself, you're like, yeah, I can agree with that.
No, I laughed my ass off because it was a good line, but my thought process is this. And again, it goes back. I'm getting old and I'm not quite as ancient as you, but
listen, Dan, we can both admit it. Eye candy sometimes good to look at. Doesn't mean we sexualize it.
I agree with you. And she's a beautiful woman, but I'm fascinated by her in the fact that she has such a versatile style that she, like, time machine, right? Take her back. She would have killed it in any time period. She's got the great Japanese strong style. She still works wonder in the lucha style. She fucking can kill it in the fucking in the normal American style. And fuck, you could put her in the fucking European style. And I bet you would kill that too. We're talking about a young woman who started wrestling in her teens, and now she's on top of the world, and nobody deserves it more. What I really liked about the match is the ending. They paid respect to each other like they do in old Japanese fucking strong style matches. She placed a belt between them and she bowed down to her and thanked her for the fucking match. We don't see that. Like it's old cadences. Like when you walk up to the fucking ring apron, you clean your fucking feet because you're entering a hollowed ground. You know all about that. You clean your fucking feet when you get in that ring. I'm not a wrestler. There's these little tells that I have watched since I was a kid.
You know, you just mentioned that, and I'm going to tell you something funny. Any good referee would tell you, you get into the ring and you see you know how you can have hanging tape shards because the tape just stretches. I will actually go and try and take the tape shards off the rope. Just so that way, it's like, because it's a roll of tape, and every now and then you get a piece of tape that just stretches out, so it's like a little piece of thread hanging.
Yeah.
I will try and pluck those pieces off the ropes. Just, you don't like it. You don't want it there. The ring is sacred ground. What goes on in the ring? Keywords. What goes on in the ring?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's a canvas, right? And these people are painting a masterpiece in there, right? I'm so passionate about the shit because it's the one thing from my childhood that's never been tainted. Yes, there's been pieces of shit that ruined moments of my life as far as wrestling, but wrestling at its purest form was an entertainment that made me and my dad closer.
And let's bring that back, because one of the things we forgot about to mention it on thing is what Triple H did say during the opening, where sports are entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you entertained in that match last night for the women? Absolutely.
100%. And I think that the back and forth was excellent. I thought that, yes, they had that fucking that fucking fan service with the devil's kiss. I love how she hit the SVB. I love the other version that she uses where she drops some hard, like she does almost like a face buster with it. I love that version of the Stephanie Vaquer bomb. I love how they sold EO using, when she landed on her knees. All that, everything had a reason, everything had a purpose. Ultimately getting to the point where she used a version.
I would love to know who produced that match.
I would too, because I do love the fact when she got on that rope, she hit the spiral tap, which is something that AJ Styles uses. She hit it pretty clean, and I thought it was a great match all the way around. I'm glad. I really thought that Asuka was going to come out and interfere, but I'm glad they didn't. They did it clean. They gave it to Stephanie. Like now she has, no one can sit there and say that she didn't earn it.
Well, if you think about it, we didn't see none of that last night. Everything was clean finishes. We didn't see none of the Gaga. But we got a 3-hour show and saw no Gaga.
I thought the show flied by. I thought the pacing was good other than the Usos match. But do you agree that the right person went over, or should it have been Io?
If you could have given them both a title.
Don't fence it. Don't sit there and fence it.
No, I'm saying to you is, if you could have given them both a title, would it have been fair?
I think both of them had incredible performances, yes. But I'm asking you, Gerard, who walks out of that, who deserved it, who needed it?
2 out of those 3, the right person got it. I think needed it, Io. Deserved, and the other one, the right person got it.
Why did Io need it?
Because of what's been going on in the back with Asuka and...
So you think that if her and Asuka face each other, that program needs the belt?
With Io winning, Asuka keeps chasing Io for that title and can't get it over. Finally, she convinces Kyrie.
Okay, so Asuka has an air about her, right? And I think everybody can agree that Asuka's like the shit. Like we talk about female Japanese wrestlers, Asuka, when she came in way back, she had that undefeated streak. She had legitimately surpassed Goldberg's undefeated streak. Like, fuck that. She was putting in work. And so she's always had that air about her. And I think there's not been another woman, minus Charlotte Flair, who's got that overall, like, if you go against her, you're going to lose. And so now you have Io coming in, and it's another Japanese star. I think she may have needed it just to solidify her and put her in the place of, in the same breath, because she even said it on Raw. I am doing this because I'm trying to follow like you, Kana-chan. And so you can tell that there's a mentor-mentee fucking, mentality between those two. That you see Kyrie, and Kyrie's like, Sadi, and she leaves going to follow her, which I think is one of the best fucking gimmicks Kyrie's ever done. But they're all trying to catch Asuka for some reason.
Let me tell you this right now. Stephanie needs to keep it till WrestleMania.
I would agree with that.
If she loses before WrestleMania, last night meant nothing.
I don't think that far, but I
ultimately... the fact of, you have this woman, and if you look online, she was not 100%. She's going through women's stuff. And she was not 100%. And she still did the performance she did last night.
Yeah.
And I say about this, you hear about professional athletes having a toenail problem. Oh, I can't play today. Right now, you have some of these women and some guys who can't, for some reason or another, they don't want to miss a day. Trust me, if Naomi could be out in that ring wrestling in her condition, I think she'd be out in the ring wrestling in her condition.
Yeah.
They don't want to miss it because right now it's so enjoyable to be part of it because you don't have the stress problem anymore.
No, and you get more than fucking 2 minutes in a tit spot.
And here's the thing. Not only you get, when you're blowing your male counterparts away, and the men got to be looking like, there's been matches that people have said, like Hogan and Rock, where people who had to follow that match were saying, we got to follow that. The main event,
killing it.
The main event of that night sucked. The main event of the night, Hogan and Rock sucked.
Yes.
Because Hogan and Rock had already killed.
There's nothing that Jericho and Triple H could have done that night. Now, talking about main events, I think that more people thought this next match was the main event. They thought it was going to be the main event because it had more steam. Talking about AJ Lee and CM Punk against the team of Seth Rollins and the Mizark Man.
The way this one was produced at the beginning and the end were great.
Those two different stories.
The middle of the match sucked.
Yeah. I loved AJ Lee's spot. I love her. I still think that she's got to transition because she's a better wrestler than what she showed yesterday.
And this way, for her first match back in 10 years, expect it.
Well, and I agree with that. My thing was also, though, that I think some of that timing was off, but that's only something you can build with while wrestling in a live crowd. You can sit there and say that all this other stuff all you want, but I love that finisher of hers, the Black Widow, because it just. But what really got me was that ending. She put it on, and they put the camera on Punk, and he's already tearing up because he's so proud of his wife. And I pointed that out to Trips. I was like, "Do you see how happy that man is? Do you see how happy?" And it's like both her and I know that is a man who loves his wife.
You know what I can't stand, and I'm hoping you understand this.
I probably won't, but go ahead.
ESPN says it. Bleacher Report says it. All these people say it. I'm the best women wrestler of all time.
I love that, actually.
I can't stand it for one reason. Because so many of these people who do these reports are such short-sighted reporters. They might not even have 5 years in the whole industry. And Becky Lynch is all they might know.
But that's not what it is. It's a gimmick. This whole thing about her is a gimmick.
You're saying she's the best women wrestler of all time.
Again, it is a gimmick. That's right. See, this is where sometimes I think the name of this show is apropos because you sit there and you get really upset about certain things. At your heart, you big fucking child, you're a mark. You're a big ass fucking mark.
And you know what? And I've said it before and I'll say it again. You can't not be around and be in the industry. You can't do it.
So
you think Vince McMahon wasn't one?
I think Vince McMahon liked making money, but I also think that he, at his core, I don't know. Like we say what you want about Vince.
A great match. He enjoyed a great match as much as you and me.
Yeah, but he was putting on piss fucking programming, shit programming. If he would have stayed away from the booking side, which I don't think he could have, it would have been so much better for everybody because one, you would have had banger after banger, but then you would have had prices and a structure that was family friendly.
I'm going to put it like this. How you just said it, I think, is reversed. If he had stayed away from the business side and just kept with the creative side, I think he'd still be in charge. The problem was, I think, when he had to go to the business side and do the creative side at the same time, because up until Linda McMahon stepped away to go run for Senate, he had nothing to do with the business side. But when she stepped away, now he has to step in as CEO. And once they go public and stuff like that, He didn't, and he would have been the first to tell you. He knew nothing about the business. He knew nothing. It was, the business part of it was all Linda. So now he's doing a dual role, and it took away from what he actually knew.
I disagree. You know, you said you said when he was doing both, it was bad.
He couldn't go. No, because I'm saying is the one job he knew, which is creative. Once you go back and look. Once he started being the CEO too, which is right around the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era didn't need writers. The fans wrote every show for the Attitude Era.
Okay, Vince. Okay, Vince Russo.
What I'm saying is throw everything out there. Let's see what the fans cheer. Let's see what the fans boo. 99% of the time, the fans were cheering everything. They couldn't do no wrong in the Attitude Era. But then they got the ruthless aggression era.
Because that became the same shit. I'll tell you right now, what destroyed them for me, the ruthless aggression era, was turning fucking John Cena super baby face. When he was still fucking the doctor of thugonomics, there was some substance to that, you know? There was something to that. When you were talking about the fucking Eddie Guerreros and the fucking JBL shit, that was great. Batista and then Eddie Guerrero passing away, that affected it. There was a lot of Monday Night Raw suffered from the golden shovel. Triple H killed the ruthless aggression era because it was just, you had some great talent there, but the Ric Flair style of booking where that motherfucker held the belt forever and buried everybody was not going to work in that time period. We've come now to a period where things have changed and we can do some really good shit depending on how you roll it.
Think about what happened when he blew his quads. For that year he was out, when he blew out his quads, think about the guys who elevated in that year. Okay?
Jeff Hardy.
When Cena blew out his pec, what was he gone? 3 months, and then he comes back at Royal Rumble, and look at the reception he got when he came back. Because why?
Was it because it was him, or was it because no one expected it?
It's because of the fact that when he wasn't there, all the other people that they tried to shove down your throat, so they said, "Oh my God, he's back."
But the booking was shit back then,
and that's what I'm saying to you. Because I'm telling you, they go public right around the Attitude Era. They come out of the Attitude Era. Now Vince is focused on two jobs.
But he could look, and that's the thing. He Vince's booking was always shit. I'm sorry. We're talking about a guy who got pushed into a wall, and he basically was throwing spaghetti at that motherfucker. Remember, we've heard Triple H and Shawn Michaels talk about it. Let us be a little more real. Let me, and it worked. The DX shit worked. The Stone Cold Steve Austin shit worked because they allowed these guys to be themselves. But when you start doing suffer and succotash and shit like that, and fucking, it just didn't work.
Here's my thing for you when it comes to that. How many times did you hear them say at that point, corporate sponsors want us to tone it down? It's like, listen, USA Network, when it came to the DX stuff, they told Vince they need to knock it off. They go online, they go out there and do that state of the WWE address. We will not say blah, 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 blah. It was the highest rated show up to that point. And USA said, well, looks like we can take that and throw it out the window. Because if people are going to watch when they talking like that, and it brings our ratings up, and it brings our sponsorship money in.
I'll tell you Leland, I'll tell you who a bad booker is right now, and that would be fucking Road Dogg. SmackDown has suffered, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but SmackDown has suffered ever since Road Dogg has taken over the creative for SmackDown.
That nepotism there, it feels like nepotism, I should say. Road Dogg, get your head out of your culo. And
I like Road Dogg. I mean, Brian James or fucking Brian Armstrong is a nice enough guy from fucking what I've seen of the guy.
If I'm right, his brother's involved too. Okay. The problem is this, and you can understand this. When you've been around that company for so long.
Okay, but Leland, in the same breath, you've got Julia, you've got fucking Chelsea Green, you've got Solo Sikoa, you've got fucking Jacob Fatu. You've got some shit to work with there.
Hey, here's a question for you. When do we put it on the talent to get the show over?
Exactly. You know, you got fucking and it's her favorite wrestler of all time, Tiffany Stratton. You've got Jade Cargill. You got Nia Jax. You've got a hell of a women's division there. You know, you got Michin, who's legitimately a good fucking. She's a good hand.
And
do something with what you got.
You have the talent.
You've got the golden boy of wrestling, Cody Rhodes. Oh God, you know. Let's get to that. Let's get to that main event.
Hold on one second. The thing I'm going to say is, a lot of people always want to blame the bookers or the producers out back. Why do we ever blame the talent for not getting the job over?
Well, because they're not dog eat dog. And I know a lot of people like to talk how great these guaranteed contracts are, but when it came down to people getting over themselves, that's when you saw. That's when you had those fights. That's when you could talk to someone like a Steve Austin who said, "I knew you were coming up the pike. You were trying to take my spot, so I had to work harder."
And that's what I'm saying is, you know, guaranteed contracts are great. I got an idea. Give them a guaranteed contract. The more you sell your gimmick, the more you're going to get paid. We're going to give you this bottom line. So in other words, you can make a shirt and sell the shirt. If you can do this and sell this, if you can do this and sell this, fine. But this is when your base pay is going to be. Right now, they have no incentive to do none of that. It's basically, here's your pay, and this is what we're going to give you. You don't even need to sell it anymore.
I get that, but Leland, I also get that as well. And my understanding, look, the best time that SmackDown ever had, the best time that SmackDown was ever rolling hot was during the time when Paul Heyman was in charge. We're talking about the Brock, Undertaker, Cena. And again, these guys weren't supposed to be big deals.
And who was in charge of the company then?
Huh?
Who was in charge of the company?
But this is not about Vince. Me and Leland arguing about the Road Dogg Jesse James.
What I'm saying is he was in charge of the company.
And he was pissed because his fucking show was getting beat by his flagship show was getting beat by his own show. Because remember what Paul Heyman said, Vince is such a junkie that he would create content or conflict in his own fucking company, competition in his own fucking company, and Paul was whooping everybody's ass. Say what you want. Paul Heyman had a pulse for what was going on. Right now, I don't think that the show on SmackDown is doing great, and I think you have, again, look what Julia was like in NXT. You're going to tell me you can't bring that same magic up? You did it with Stephanie McCare, and nothing's changed about Stephanie.
And I've said it before, and I've said it again. You follow 3 rules. All you can do is follow 3 rules. Watch, listen, learn. If you watch the crowd reaction, listen to the crowd's reaction.
To argue your point, Gerard, what happened? You know, Leland, you made me think about this. What happened when fucking Vince McMahon took over NXT?
Oh my God!
But we got rainbow fucking colors. It looked like shit. They ruined fucking Karrion Kross. You got Braun Breaker, but you can't really ruin Braun Breaker.
Well, like I just said to you, his biggest problem was that, in a way, I don't think Vince McMahon ever trusted Vince McMahon.
Will you quit defending that crazy old fogey?
I didn't defend. I just said to him, he never trusted himself.
I wouldn't trust him.
You never had to work for him. But I'm just saying the fact of...
How much is he paying you on the side to be fucking on this little-ass podcast that nothing ever gets out?
Listen, I'll tell you, the same amount as Tony Khan pays all his beat writers. What I'm going to say is, he couldn't make a decision and stick with it, but he wanted everybody else. He wanted everybody else to make a decision and stick with it, but he couldn't do it. And that's verified. Where he would have you write a script of, yep, we'll go with that. And 10 minutes later, nah, throw it away and start all over again. And I'm saying is today's...
You still fucking back this shithead.
And I'm saying to you is, in today's WWE, they'll write the show 3 days in advance. That's good. We'll go with it. No changes. Oh, we'll go with that. But they don't understand. They're not listening, and learning from the audience that they're putting out there on.
No, they are, because that's why they have someone like Jey Uso win the Royal Rumble.
But where's he getting them right now? Like yesterday, they come out. The one thing I will give the Usos credit for, and, you know, not enough gets credit for this, is how they incorporate a kid in the audience.
Yes, and I told you that. I messaged you last night. The yeet shit's over. You may not like it. Hell, I'm not a big fan of it, but the yeet shit is over.
And like I said, how they can get the kids involved and stuff like that, I think that's a very good thing because it's one of the things that WWE used to do very well back in the day. They got away from, and you mentioned it with John Cena coming out to where he had 50 kids come out with him.
Well, and I'll argue this: it's not a good move to fucking turn Jay heel. I don't believe it is.
He had a question in that match though. How the hell did he get busted open?
Fucking who knows?
Because that's the one thing they said for your first time on ESPN to actually have real blood. That was not a slice job. Where and how did it happen?
Could have hit a corner. Anything could have happened.
I mean, it looked good.
But instead of going back, I'm going to go forward and talk about that main event and how I didn't give a shit. In fact, I went and took a shit during that match.
Put it this way. I blinked and it was over. And
I think the wrong guy won. I think Drew McIntyre has busted his ass. I think Drew McIntyre was deserving.
You know what I said last night to myself? I'm saying all night to myself. I'm watching Drew and I'm like, Drew and Brock. I think those are the only two guys right now that could get to each other and actually make it look believable because the size Drew is right now, the size Brock is right now, the only other person you could even throw into that mix could maybe be Randy. But because of how he is when it comes to his injuries and stuff like that, I don't know. But Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar right now.
I think Brock's going to take on Cody next.
And you know what? The other thing that disappointed me about Brock Lesnar is coming out in the shorts. I was hoping he'd come out in the jeans and a t-shirt, dude. Oh my God. If he come out looking like that farmer gimmick that he'd been coming out looking, I thought that would have been awesome. But I don't want to see him go against Cody. You want to know why? To me, it's not realistically, it's just not real right now because of the size of, you just had Brock Lesnar destroy John Cena. And you're going to have him come out and lose to Cody Rhodes.
I'm sorry, are you done talking about Brock Lesnar's package?
No, I just said they should have had him wearing jeans and a t-shirt instead of his...
All I heard is Gerard Millette wants to see Brock Lesnar in his tight jeans showing off his package.
No, I said get him some looser pants so he doesn't blow out his
cowboy
ass.
Boots, singing fucking...
Kumbaya.
Singing fucking Stranger in Paradise.
Doing a two-step.
Doing him fucking looking like a male stripper.
Doing a Texas two-step down to the... Brock Lesnar back on the farm.
Was he back on the farm? Look, he looks like a modern day fucking Viking. I like Brock Lesnar. He looks fucking huge. He looks huge. He looks fucking huge. But this again, I think that Drew deserves it. Drew's been killing it in social media. Drew's just fucking he deserves his fucking due, and he's not getting it.
Somebody said they needed a map to read his back last night. That's how wide he was. But
thank you, dear. My beautiful wife and producer of the show brought up something that you forgot that you were supposed to write down. You son of a bitch!
About what?
The first inductee to the 2020.
You haven't got done yet.
We just finished the main event.
Yeah, but we haven't got done yet.
It happened before the main event, you dick.
Okay.
Always excuses. Always like, we didn't do that. Oh.
Gotcha.
That was good. Right. Undertaker rides out. This is during my shit break, so I had to listen on my phone while it was happening. Goes over there, asks Stephanie if the seat's taken, says, "Are you stalking me? Basically, you following me?" And announces that Stephanie McMahon, and I want you to come in for this because I want you to say your 2 cents on this. Stephanie McMahon will be the first inductee in the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame. I think it's well fucking deserved, but I would like to give this over to the woman of this podcast, the woman fucking mind, the brilliance, the beauty, the everything that makes this fucking thing work, the glue of the show, and the only one who can tolerate Gerard because he talks so fucking much. Trips, the light fantastic.
The EOE of the company, equal opportunity employer.
No, you and I talked about it. You said that you were fine with it. I don't have an issue with it. I think she deserves to go in too. I find the timing to be extremely. I wonder what the optics are. I don't feel like they're doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. I feel like it's a slap in the face to Vince, like, hey, not only are you not in, but now we're going to induct your kids before you ever had a chance of getting in. I feel like it's not just on the up and up because they love Stephanie.
But they love Stephanie.
I know, but I don't think that's the only reason. I think that there's optics behind it. I think it's a fuck you to Vince.
Well, Leland disagrees with you because Vince is back on WWE TV by WrestleMania. I feel that more than ever now.
I think you see Stephanie last night. I think you see Shane at Survivor Series.
I would love to see some Simba.
She does love Shane.
I think you see Linda at Royal Rumble. And I think you see Vince for WrestleMania. I think
you're out of your tree.
I think all McMahon's going to win for WrestleMania for one reason. They don't know how much time the big guy got left. And I would like to see him because listen, when they showed Vince last night on the monitor, the crowd cheered. You could hear the crowd cheer for him on the monitor last night.
It was a fucking promo. It had nothing to do with Vince.
I'm only saying I think he deserves to be inducted while he's
I don't.
No, while he's
now, hold on. This is where
only for contributions to the wrestling industry.
Oh, so does Chris Benoit deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
For contributions to the wrestling industry, absolutely.
You're a fucking
No.
maniac. There's no.
Wrestling industry.
No, fuck that.
Listen, his match with Kurt Angle, if you can put Brett and Austin in, him and Angle from Royal Rumble.
No.
The outrage of just Brock Lesnar getting to come back on TV 2 years after doing nothing to anybody, allegedly. If you put Vince back on TV, the entire world will explode. No one will sign off on that.
I'm not saying put him back on permanently. I'm saying, does he deserve his place?
No.
Maybe posthumously.
He's done nothing to the wrestling industry.
Yes, Leland.
Yes, he has.
Leland, I have heard that, and this is why I agree with him. Look, I know there is speculation that Benoit possibly, was set up, and if I see that there's facts, I have a friend that actually believes that 100%. He has worked very hard and tirelessly to prove that, and I've never been more closer to believing the optics of it. I've never been closer to believing that. You know what? And I've told him, buddy, if you could prove it, if you can make it happen, I'll support you, and good on you, because he's always supported me in supporting Gerard as far as the Mel stuff. But what I will say is, yes, I've seen the Benoit stuff where Paul Heyman said, as far as a wrestler, one of the greatest of all time, should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame as a wrestler, as a human being. Fuck him. If he's your boy, fuck him. Fuck Benoit. Does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? No. He tarnished that by what he did. And as far as Vince goes, I'm sorry, Gerard. Do I think this Janelle Grant stuff is a money grab? 100%. I've never shied away from that. Do I think the shit that happened with Nancy Argentina and the cover up of Jimmy Snuka? No, fuck that. The shit he did to Ashley Mazzaro, fuck him. The shit that happened with anybody else, and that's always come up, all the bullshit that Vince has done, I'm sorry. I know that you like Vince, but I've never shied away from it. Fuck that guy.
No, what I'm saying is, my thing about that is this, okay? In no major sports Hall of Fame has anybody ever come out who's been in the Hall of Fame and they yanked him out because of stuff that he did after the fact.
Hulk Hogan.
He's in there now, right?
They put him back in. And how much of a tribute did they give that guy last night? I get that, but it wasn't about him. It was about WWE as a whole.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about what Vince has done behind the scenes. What his contributions to the wrestling business.
I get that, but he made decisions. Gerard, he made decisions. He made decisions in his personal life, which affected his professional life, which in turn have in my opinion, and many others have disqualified him from He's never going to going to jail. Vince is never going to jail for some of the alleged things he's done. Vince is never going to be punished on a platform, and we've said it ourselves. This Janelle thing, the worst that can happen is he has to come out some money at the worst of it. The worst of it. So he'll never suffer under a court of law as far as that. The worst thing
in more than one case, the worst that could ever happen.
Yes.
It will come out in more than one case.
It'll be financial. It will not be through a court of law. What will happen to him, and what did happen to him because of his own stupid decisions, and because he carried on this relationship with this woman, because he did this stupid shit, because he was fucking around and being trustworthy of a guy like fucking Johnny Ace, that prick, is that his legacy is so tarnished. I don't know Vince. You got to meet him. You got to work for the guy. That's great. And again, you like him for what were your reasons. I'm agreeing with you that the Janelle Grant shit is kind of a money grab, and everybody tries to fucking hold her up on a pedestal like she's a queen. And again, if you were such a great person, you would have gone and taken this to a fucking federal court, not a fucking civil court. All those thoughts aside, he has tarnished his legacy so much. Fuck him, and fuck ever putting him in that Hall of Fame.
Would you believe in Shane and Linda?
I think Linda and Shane, absolutely. No, that's what I'm saying, Leland. I think that some of it happened. I think the shit that happened with Johnny Ace in that office with him happened. I think the shit what he did with her with Brock, pretending to be Brock Lesnar and having to give her so much Saks Fifth Avenue fucking merch that he said, "Are we good now? I'm so sorry. I'm not letting you out of this room until we talk." And I think that shit happened. But I think that in some regard, maybe she was complacent. I don't know. I wasn't there, and more facts will come out. But I think she was complicit to some of it. I'm going to be straight. I don't have all the facts, so that's why you'll always hear me say, until the fucking facts come out, something does not feel right. But what I do know is that these people have admitted they knew about what happened to Ashley. They lied about it for years. They tried to make her look fucking stupid. The whole basis behind the Vince McMahon documentary which eventually led to us meeting Gerard, was because of Ashley Mazzaro. Everything that happened with fucking Nancy Argentino, that's bullshit. And, the countless lives that were affected because of this guy's decisions. And again, anybody who goes back and looks at his history, like we've all done, and knows about his past and all that, I get it. He had a fucked up childhood, a very fucked up childhood. But it doesn't excuse the fact that everything that's happened has happened. People were hurt. I mean, lives were ruined. I truly believe Ashley is gone because she raised her daughter, and she made the ultimate decision to no longer be with us because of the stress from what happened in her time in WWE. And period. That's what I feel. Go ahead.
To go on that point, and I want you to understand me when I say this. Not only professional wrestling, but the entertainment industry as a whole is not for everybody.
It's not.
You have to have a certain mindset for it, okay? You will have the highs of highs and you will have the lowest of lows.
Fair.
How you ride that wave in between, how you make your character is,
Okay. Let me ask you this.
I'll give you the perfect example of somebody like John Cena. He probably had a lot of highs and a lot of lows and lows. But for the most part, all we've ever heard him do is ride the middle wave. It's all we ever heard him do.
Let me ask you this, Gerard. You've heard it just as well as I've heard it. The locker room now is a lovely place to be, they say. They say that everyone is happy. It's a wonderful place to be, right?
Yep.
Okay. In the time that Ashley Mazzaro was there, which is before the Pages, before the fucking AJ Mendezes, before the Caitlins, before all these other people, it was a very toxic place where you'll look at someone like Francine, who said that they wanted her to oil up her fucking tits and go ask Vince what she needed. And you hear stories from Paul London, who was her ex-boyfriend, saying that Vince would try to get her on the plane constantly. And at like 2:00 in the morning, come to her hotel room. She was on the phone with Paul London, talking to him as Vince was trying to get her to open a room. because he wanted X, Y, and Z. I am more inclined to believe the shit that's being said about him that's coming to light now because of all the fucked up shit that was going on in that locker room back then. Look at back at no different than Melina fucking Melina and fucking Batista, the shit that went on with them, the way they treated her, all the shit they did to women, and now we are in a time where women have carte blanche to basically do what they want, and they're being able to show their talent. They're not just there for, no pun intended, TNA. They're not just tits and ass. And Vince fostered a culture of all of that. What is the one dynamic change that turned that locker room into a positive place? Vincent Kennedy McMahon is gone.
And guaranteed contracts.
They still had the guaranteed contracts when he was still there.
But the guaranteed contracts changed a lot of that because back when a lot of what you're talking about back then, you got more TV time the more you did. Now, don't get me wrong. If what you just described with Francine, with the oil and stuff like that.
Wait, you say that. Tell him. Say that. Why would you say that?
Oh,
the more you did.
The more
you did, Gerard.
I just said, the more you did, the better your position got. Okay?
Yeah.
Like I said, don't get me wrong. Francine walking in with oiled up boobs in front of me, I might have the position too. But I'm just kidding. I couldn't look past her eyes. But I'm just saying is, though, back in those days, because you had to fight for those position to get that bigger paycheck.
To be fair, Leland, CM Punk returned, and he did have a 2-minute conversation with Vince. CM Punk returned because of the conversations he had with Nick Khan, and ultimately the conversation he had on Thanksgiving with Triple H, Paul Levesque. They were two different places. I think partially Punk returned because he was bitter about how his departure from AEW went, and he kind of wanted to stick it to him. And again, he literally had that conversation with Vince at the tower at the gym, and then Vince got hit up on those charges.
Hey, AJ would not be there. Leland's right, because Punk said when he was talking to her about coming back, he told her how great it is now, how great the locker room is now, how the environment is not toxic. So he's right. If Vince is there, AJ Lee don't come back.
And I'm in the segue into something, I'm just going to say this.
But before you segue, what is the biggest proponent of AJ's whole new thing coming back? Talking about mental health, talking about women, talking about how it's okay to go seek therapy. How she, again, it's not a hidden fucking story of how she contemplated ending her existence.
If you go back and look at all her matches, all her thing, I was trying to remember any kind of incident where she was sexualized. I don't know if she was ever sexualized the way.
Okay, so she even brought that up in one of her promos when she was wearing Daisy Dukes that were probably way too short that she should have been wearing.
And how did she come out last night?
Those are up to her thigh, her upper thigh. Those weren't upper ass.
I'm just saying the fact of when it comes to AJ Lee, I'm going to put it like this, okay? Her talent was better than her body. Too many times, the body, I won't mention Nikki Bella, has put over the talent.
I will mention Nikki Bella because look what they did. Because she was married to CM Punk. AJ Lee had No. This is about Punk. No. I'm sorry. AJ Lee.
Married at the time.
Hold on. AJ Lee was getting married. No, they were married because Punk was out of the company at this time. AJ Lee was still married to CM Punk. At that time, she had the longest reigning Divas title ever. She was the longest reigning. And what did they do? They put that belt on Nikki, and out of spite, they had her beat it. The night that everybody was pissed off because Nikki was going to beat the record, they had a match that Monday, and everyone was like, okay, they're going to do the right thing. They're going to let AJ keep it. Nope, they let fucking Nikki go ahead, and it was a sack of shit moment. I don't forget that shit. I don't forget. And Leland, I think that to some regard, you're right. I think that if Punk and Tony Khan didn't have their falling out, then you would be having AJ Mendez on AEW Dynamite right now.
And by the way, what I meant by segue is, and yesterday you seem to bring back a bag of shit that cost you to have AJ. I mean, that cost you to have AJ and CM Punk on your show. And you put over that piece of shit and you bring him back as Tarzan Boy.
Hold on. We're going to talk about AEW All Out. And what I will tell you, what I loved at the very beginning of this show, you have Christian Cage, the asshole, which is basically a pretty good description of like it. Basically, Gerard's the edge of our group. He's the Adam Copeland, and I'm the fucking asshole. I love that. You know what I did to your mother last night? I love fucking Christian Cage's gimmick. I love the fucking prick that he is. They walk down there, they see a legend, great, but then they see a bigger legend from the Trailer Park Boys, Bubbles. What's his fucking problem? And then they go down a little bit further, and they see the most legendary luchador of all time, Green Bastard, parts unknown, and the Green Bastard's there to have their backs. And fucking, what does Christian Cage say? I think there's too much chlorine in the gene pool. Fucking love it. Now, I'll say this. I have been a proponent to say that after what they did with Hulk Hogan, I was planning on never watching AEW again. I was like, I wanted nothing to do with it. But, you know, going back to the fucking thumbnail, it's 707, by the way. I thought you should know that. 707, important number. Just to fucking be clear, I think this is Christian's best run. I didn't want to watch AEW, but I did last night. And I think that AEW, by far, put on a better show.
Here's my thing about that. And I said it before and I'll say it again. You can have a better show. But to constantly do it and constantly give away 6-hour shows. Did you ever think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people
they are catering to a fan base that wants and loves wrestling.
I don't want to go sit through a 6-hour show, especially if the show can be done in 3 hours.
Okay, I want you to hear me out. I don't like the hardcore wrestling. I don't. In fact, I'll tell you this. I thought that fucking one of the matches was Darby Allin versus a fucking Mox.
Was it Texas match or something like that?
It was a coffin match. And he fucking was stabbing him in the head with a fork. I'm not into that. But you had another match with the brother of a wrestler who I hold dear, who I cried over his passing, Mark Briscoe, facing off against his mortal enemy at the time of last night, Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
I'm better than you, and you know it.
Absolutely, he is. And the match started off with fucking Mark Briscoe taking not a bag, not a handful, but an entire metal slop bucket full of fucking thumbtacks and filling the entire canvas with thumbtacks. Now, normally I would see this and go, oh God, please don't do this. But the way they have built these two into a blood feud, it was almost poetic. It was every fucking move looked painful, but it was done in a way that these guys still had some fucking art to their fucking craft.
See, how you just said that is one of my biggest problems with AEW.
What?
They have a hard time of selling matches without a gimmick involved in it.
It wasn't a gimmick. It was just supposed to be a fucking like a no holds bar match. I haven't kept up with the storyline. He introduced that. That wasn't broadcast. That wasn't part of the stipulation. That wasn't anything. This was a guy.
One night, I honestly believe one night somebody's going to die in one of their rings.
You know, and I there's moments where I worry about that, yes, because I think that, you know, they take sometimes the Moxley matches, I think, take it too far. The high spots, I think, are too much. But last night, I didn't see, it wasn't about the gimmicks, Gerard. It was about a story being told. And I watched these guys and how Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF himself, that piece of shit, has basically run Mark Briscoe into the ground, talked all this horrible shit, insulted his brother, who's a legendary tag team wrestler, who, as far as Ring of Honor, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, the guy who fucking ended the reign of Scum and Kevin Steen before he was Kevin Owens. They had a match, a blood feud match that was, you know, I will go back to something like Terry Funk versus Ric Flair for this generation. That's how deep I would have said. If you with MJF playing the role of Ric Flair and fucking Mark Briscoe playing that role of the crazy man, Terry Funk, and going out there and having a brutal fucking match that was still in moments scientific. I watched who I think is right now one of the greatest female wrestlers of her generation. Maybe not as good as Io, but I watched Toni Storm graciously lose in a fatal 4-way to someone who absolutely deserved it, Chris Statlander. And she didn't beat her with a fancy fucking gimmick. She beat her with a fucking seatbelt pin. And the storyline behind that seatbelt pin being that Wheeler Yuta uses that pin. And does that mean Chris Statlander is going over to the Death Riders? What does that mean? What are the implications of a fucking pin, Gerard? Just little subtleties. And for people to say that AEW doesn't have stories, you're absolutely wrong, because the next thing I saw was a title match between fucking the Rainmaker against Takeshita against what was a man known as Grand Metalik, and how they incorporated all three styles, and fucking the Rainmakers and Takeshita are supposed to be on the same fucking side. But what a fucking match, using that Japanese strong style and introducing some of that lucha libre in there. Going on to the tag match, watching Brody King, one of the greatest big man I've seen in years, and his partner Bandito, a hell of a luchador, former Ring of Honor champion, defending their titles in a ladder match. And it was just boom, boom, boom. I watched the Hurt Syndicate with MVP against, I think they're called the Demand, and I know I don't like them very much, but the Gates of Agony and fucking Ricochet, what a fucking match they had. Not the only match I had a problem with was Darby Allin and John Moxley, because I think the stabbing a motherfucker in the head with a fork goes a little too far. You're not Abdullah the Butcher. There was a time and place from that. That's not now.
Let me ask you, how come their pay-per-views don't carry over to their weekly shows?
I think it might be time constraints, because you have WWE, you have fucking 5 hours of programming every week, where AEW only has 3.
AEW got 4.
So did their other show get 2 hours?
Yeah, they both get 2 hours. Collision.
No, because sometimes the other one was only getting 1 hour.
But you're not putting people into a building for an hour.
They absolutely, because they'll film 2 tapings or something in there. They'll do dark matches.
And my thing about it is like this, okay? In either way, you're doing a show. You're getting 6 hours of product. If you're a fan, you'd go and you get 6 hours of product. The other company's doing 6 hours of product a week too. But look at one's attendance figures. Look at the other's attendance figures. Now, don't get me wrong. We've said it before. We'll say it again. In the wrestling industry exclusively, when everybody's doing good business,
yeah,
it's great all around.
And I'm glad you said that. That was the perfect segue to what I really want to get into, which is the basis of the thumbnail on this fucking thing. And I'm glad we have a lot of time to get into it, because we have a lot to talk about. What's good business, right? When everybody has somewhere to go, when there is an AEW, when there is a TNA, when there is a WWE, when there is multiple outlets for people to wrestle, then we as fans get to salivate and enjoy. What happened last night, Gerard, what happened last night is a travesty, and it's bullshit, because WWE decided to fucking promote their Wrestle fucking Palooza card on the same day after AEW had the spot on a Saturday, to put it on the same night, to fucking outbook them, to fucking cause them to lose viewership. If they're not a threat, if AEW is not a threat, then why is WWE doing that? You're the guy who knows this better than I do. You tell me why they're doing that if they're not a threat.
Crush my competition.
For what if they're not competition?
And so here's you go. Look at the TV deals that WWE is signing right now, okay? In TKO's mind, remember, this is a TKO thing. TKO wants to be the only candy store, okay?
And you support that? As a wrestling fan, you support that?
If you let me finish. TKO wants to be the only candy store, okay? They want to be selling the dollar candy. They don't care about the independents who sell you penny candy, okay?
Okay, so they want to sell the dollar candy, but they're charging me $500 a fucking seat.
Right. What I mean by this is, okay, they want to sell the dollar candy. They don't care if all these little independents sell the penny candy. The problem is they see a company like AEW want to get their hands on the dollar candy because there's only one thing that separates AEW and WWE: money. Tony Khan's father has more money than WWE. If Tony Khan's father really wanted to invest in WWE wrestlers, could he create an enormous bidding war? Absolutely. It's a bidding war Scott Boras himself would love, because there's a shit ton of money right now to be thrown around in the world of professional wrestling. The only difference is one company has the proper people that know how to spend their money. The other company has a goofy little 5'8" crackhead running that company that if he had anybody with a sack
You're
of
going to do
Bible-
this again, aren't you? You are going to
Hold
play
on,
the
let me
role of
finish.
Jacob today, aren't you?
Hold on, let me finish. If he would entrust anybody else to do the bidding for him and not want to do 100% creative, not just creative control, if he didn't just want 100% control of every aspect of the company, he has the money.
Okay, so you had Vince doing the same shit and you were praising him for it.
No, I didn't. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I just said earlier, Vince lost his sense of mind when he got into the business aspect. If he just stayed with the creative part of it, he always knew the creative part of it. Always said he knows the creative part.
Yes, that's right. We're talking about the guy who made the character Duke the Dumpster Drosy, but yeah.
Well, remember, he actually had guys that he would listen to. Okay? Bastion, Booger, let's not go back all that far. But guess what? He had guys like Nails, Waylon Mercy, which preamble to a guy named, let me guess. Bray Wyatt. I'm saying you had
Who
guys,
they did shit with.
you had guys like that. But you don't have guys
I'm
like
gonna correct you real quick. No, that one tickled my butt a little bit. I'm gonna correct you real quick. He had Waylon Mercy, Dan Spivey, God rest his soul, one of the best fucking big men in the business, who was approached by Wyndham Rotunda, who said, "I love that gimmick. Can I carry?" And Spivey said, "You're IRS's baby boy. Yeah, you're one of the Wyndhams. Hell yeah, you could take my gimmick, run with that shit." And he did it. And you know who he did it under? Triple H, not Vince, not fucking WWE, NXT, FCW.
Because remember, when he first came out, he was some guy called Husky Harris.
Yeah, and what did he? And that was a Vince fucking bullshit gimmick. He went down and worked at FCW with fucking Triple H and Dusty Rhodes. Yeah, daddy, the American Dream, baby. They the ones who made Bray Wyatt come to life, baby.
Wait a minute. His gimmick wasn't over, but the group that he was in was.
No, baby, it was all the
No. When he was Husky Harris, he was part of Nexus. That group was definitely fucking over.
No, that group was over when it was run by fucking Wade Barrett, and then who rode that one over, baby? Who ruined that gimmick? It was John Cena and Vince McMahon, baby.
Listen, Husky Harris was in Nexus when Wade Barrett was in control of it.
No, he wasn't. That was CM. You can look it up, because the match that Husky Harris was there when CM Punk was in the Royal Rumble, and it was Husky Harris. Who was that? The guy who looked just like fucking Batista. I think Otunga was in there.
You were more the Spirit Squad guy?
No, fucker, that was that hell. No, it was CM Punk's version right before.
Because I'm telling you, Husky Harris was part of Nexus.
Were they both running it? Because Husky Harris, he wasn't part of the original Nexus.
Yes, he was.
He was not a part of the original Nexus.
With Wade Barrett, yes, he was.
He was in there when Wade Barrett was there, but that was after Wade Barrett had already lost to Cena at Survivor Series.
Because there was 5 of those guys.
You had Heath Slater.
Yep.
Tarver, Otunga, the South African cat.
And you had Husky Harris.
And you had Wade Barrett. That was 5.
Could have sworn Husky Harris was the muscle.
No. You had Tarver. You had Otunga. You had fucking Wade Barrett. You had I can't remember. He goes by like PJ Black now. Or something like that.
Whatever happened to that guy?
He goes by PJ Black now, and then you.
No, I'm talking about Dave Otunga. Whatever happened to him?
Okay.
He had that thing with Jennifer Hudson. That was it.
So right before.
Husky was in there when Wade was in there.
But right before. Who are the 5 original members of the Nexus? 5 original. Because he's sitting here telling me that the Nexus had Husky Harris in the beginning, and that is not true.
No, not from the very beginning.
No, he was in the second batch from the Nexus. So he wasn't part of the Nexus that was over. Damn it, Gerard. Don't question me on my Nexus knowledge.
Next. Anyway, like I said, I know he was, tell me, he was more of a Spirit Squad kind of guy.
Are you looking over at my wife in like the camera from the side? Really? She's not even here, but he's over here looking over at you?
What I'm saying is the fact of when you look at things like this, okay, and you go back and look, with the wrestling industry as a whole, how much it has evolved.
It has, but I'll tell you this. Vince was never a great booker. He was great in the 80s when you were comic books and shit, but even then, he didn't know how to book for the South. You know why he didn't know it? I can prove he couldn't book for shit in the South, because if it wasn't for fucking Vince sucking at booking, we would have never got a little something called 3 letters, 3 words, gave them the greatest competition until now. Oh, WCW.
Wait a minute. I told you growing up, WWF wasn't the top dog up here.
It was shit.
No. You know what the top dog up here was? And it wasn't NWA. It wasn't WCW. It was WCCW.
Because they didn't know how to book for anybody.
No, remember, he was in syndication up here. But you know what the problem was? You had the Von Erichs and the Freebirds and those guys and Iceman Keen Parsons and all that stuff doing back in early
Bad
80s.
Street, motherfucker.
That's what I said.
Bad Street, USA.
Like I said, that video is god awful, but it's great.
I love Terry Gordy. I love Terry Gordy. That motherfucker. I was my favorite of the Freebirds. Michael PSAs.
You'll understand this. I miss that kind of stuff. We talk about
what do you think I've been preaching when I talk about Tully Blanchard and the fucking slingshot suplex and Magnum TA?
Give me a guy today could fit in Gino Hernandez's shoes.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Well, no, you know what? You know who has come a long way? We've talked about him in the beginning when you and I first met. Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
If you watch Friday night, I think it was Friday night, when he was talking about the Intercontinental title belts and stuff like defending his 2 belts, and the thing with I'm sorry, Monday night it was, and then Finn Balor comes over. I'm like, they're gonna turn Dom babyface.
My only issue with Dom is I feel like he needs to put some more mass on. If he's gonna play the fucking role of Eddie was no small fucking shrimpy motherfucker.
Height-wise, I mean, yeah.
He just needs to get some gains, bro. Just put some beef on them arms.
Oh, dude, I say it all the time. Listen, okay? That to me has always been something to where you have these guys come out there, I can do this, this, and this. And you weigh 175 pounds soaking wet on a good day. Okay?
You're damn right, Leland.
But here's my question for you. Can he accomplish it without Liv Morgan? Because I think if Liv comes back,
will turn a face on her return.
She's going to be more popular than him, though.
I think they'll make a great tandem. I think that, but with him going against Finn, and her going against fucking the prodigy Roxanne Perez.
And I'm glad that's something I'll bring up too. I don't know about you. I'm glad to see it happen, but I don't want to see it happen all the time. This husband and wife couple shit, can we stop it?
No, because I'm happy to see AJ Lee, so fuck you.
No, you hear what I just said? I'm glad to see it happen, But can we stop the husband and wife couple stuff? Because I don't need to see a faction for every husband and wife. I don't need to see it.
I get that.
Okay.
But back to the major point. Vince sucked at booking. Vince was a piece of shit booker.
I have somebody go. Let's go all the way back. Okay. To John Cena.
Vince sucks dick.
Who
Booking.
did WWE create from John Cena on?
That's what he's bitching about, Leland.
No. Think about that. He didn't create them. They were before John Cena.
No, he's saying you keep bringing up husband and wives. You're late to the party here. He's talking about that because remember, they're delayed when they see us.
Okay, so my question to you is this. From John Cena on we'll go to Bray Wyatt. I'm from Bray Wyatt. From John Cena on, who did he create in 15 years?
Nobody really.
Nobody. He took guys that were in other companies and
treated them like shit.
Okay, but creative wise, he didn't create nobody.
You made Leland feel bad. I hope you're happy.
He'll get over it.
See, Leland, I will thank you for being a valued member of this podcast and showing up every week.
You'll understand this one. He's bluer than blue. Anywho,
I don't give a shit. He's a wonderful member of this fucking community.
What I'm going to say is, he's probably complaining right now because hold on. Before I say these words, wait a minute. Before I say these words, there's something we do got to talk about that I hope you remember. And because of this show, let me just do this one real quick. I think before the end of the show, can we talk about freedom of speech?
Fine.
How it affects.
We also need to talk about is coming up as our 50th episode.
God dang.
I know, right?
But
and they said we wouldn't last.
Mostly
me.
Yeah. I'm gonna say he's out there crying right now because he stepped away because the Red Sox are losing. Well, hey, Texas is just about out of it. So, how'd the Cowgirls do today? If they did as good as my Patriots did, I don't.
So he's definitely wanting to be the heel of the show, isn't he? He's pushing this shit.
Hey, just when they think they got the answers.
Look. Ultimately, you and I were in agreement on something, and I'm going to have to out you and ruin your whole fucking heel turn right here. You ready for this? 3 letters that could really make some real noise for AEW. MSG.
Oh, we're going to go back to that to where last week, and she can look up the tape where I said at WrestleMania weekend next year, if I'm AEW, I'm going on the East Coast, Boston, New York, Philly, Washington, D.C. I'm getting the biggest show I can, inviting every independent promotion in the world to join me. And we have
a real WrestlePalooza
where everybody's invited. Basically, we're going to have a WrestleCon. We're going to do this. We're going to do this and do this. WWE, you can take your Saudi money, piss off fun with yourself. And you basically say, you're not the only candy store on the block. Look what everybody else can do.
Tony Khan has been offered an opportunity right now to win back some fucking brownie points with the wrestling audiences that he lost. Because he tried so hard, and this is my biggest issue. And I really went back and thought about this, Gerard. I really went back and had a long.
Hey, one quick question for you. Here's a thought for you. Now, hear me out on this one.
Do I have to?
WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Not everybody goes on the WrestleMania card. Okay. What if WWE?
You think Vince is going to run a show?
What if WWE runs a show with everybody who doesn't make it to WrestleMania?
So basically saying that you guys suck, you're not as good, but we think we're going to put you over here to cut. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier. It's horse shit that they're sitting there counter programming somebody who they don't think is competition.
We're going to put, and you know what we're going to do with these tickets? You're going to put your name into a raffle, a free raffle. You get free tickets, but your name got to go into a raffle.
Do not give that stupid fucking money-hungry piece of shit TKO company any more fucking ideas.
Who talking about? Oh, what I'm saying is, we're going to put on a free show, but you got to obviously go into a lottery to get the tickets. Of all the people who don't make it to WrestleMania, because
all bullshit aside, I love wrestling. I love that we can sit here and talk about this, right? I don't personally agree with TKO's business practices, but they're doing a wonderful job with the women. They're doing a wonderful job providing a place for people to work. And again, WWE is what it is. I'm a passionate fan at the end of the day, a mark, if you will. But I sit here and I look at somewhere like AEW, who I have had a love-hate relationship. Mostly, I've loved to hate them over the last couple of years. But I would love for them to get the opportunity to be the alternative. I would love for them to create, and yes, he did absolutely talk about a mega revolution, but I would love for AEW to have that opportunity because, damn it, they're putting on good fucking matches, Gerard. They're doing great storylines.
Yeah. Think about it like this, though. What I just said, all these indie promotions, there's only one. What's the one indie promotion that wouldn't show up? TNA, because
that's not an indie promotion, though.
No. I'm just saying is the fact that you got Major League and then you got AAA and down. So right now,
you also understand that TNA had a working relationship with AEW until WWE came in.
That's what I'm saying. So right now, you got we can all agree WWE, Major League, AEW would be AAA, TNA would be AA. Everybody below that is A-ball. Okay. My thing about that is this.
Well, everything below that is having Raja Jackson come over there and punch a motherfucker in the face.
Which I will say congratulations to the LA attorney for at least charging the guy with something. Yeah, you released him already on bail, but at least you charged him with something. I'm just saying, you have, for all these wrestling companies and community, you have a year and a half to plan for doing something on the East Coast during WrestleMania 44. Well, hold on. Yeah. You better do something. Because if you allow the major leagues to take over 5,000 miles away, whatever it is, and you do nothing, you get everything you have coming towards you.
I would like this. Again, this is like fantasy booking here, but I would love that fucking AEW goes out there. They make a promotion where they invite people. You know what? I think you let some of these indie guys come over to your show. You have a big fucking event. Like they've been pushing these 6-hour shows, right? Well, have some of those. Have a fucking battle royal with fucking guys from other indie corporate companies that are coming up.
Like this, WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia is going to be like 11 o'clock in the morning here.
Yeah.
You promote a show for 4 o'clock in the afternoon. As soon as WrestleMania is over, we're starting 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
And you do a 6-hour fucking show. And again, you know how WWE has these WWE ID things. Well, everybody, if they do it right, they can have a thing where every year they have this event happen. Indies from all over the country can have their guys show up. They get a glimpse at these characters in a battle royal or whatever it may be, and they give that guy here you go. Here's some fantasy booking. Have a battle royal at the beginning of the show. And that indie guy gets to take on the heavyweight champion at the end of the show.
He's saying, have Forbidden Door in the spring. Hey, how about have All In, which would really mean everybody's all in.
Yeah.
It'd be all in the spring. And as soon as WrestleMania goes off the air, we're going to put ours on the air. As soon as
you do that, you have a sense of fucking surprise. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
An all in. He would literally mean
Jinder Mahal
all in.
Could win the AEW World Championship because you don't know. Anything can happen. El Grande Americano could come over to AEW and win the AEW World Championship because you never know what's going to happen in AEW. Repo Man could come out of retirement and steal the AEW World Heavyweight Championship.
Tony Khan has an important announcement. What is him and his father the ones buying WBD?
Muhammad Hassan could come back from wherever the Undertaker sent him.
Well, it's funny you named that because so people know it was this date in history that his contract was cut from WWE.
Bill Goldberg going to AEW in 2020.
Listen, if Sheiky Baby wasn't dead,
The son of the Iron Sheik, the Golden Sheik, comes.
So I'm just saying is, I wonder if he convinces dad to buy WBD, because that would be breaking news.
Well, remember, they were looking to sell anyway.
Listen, they're looking to find somebody who will take them up. Their stock trading at like 21. They're trying to bump it up to $40 this year.
Please put that comment up. Please put that comment up. Please.
Yeah, I saw that.
Leland.
Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith is a jackass. This is the same guy who thinks he's going to run for president one day. Good luck. That'll put the asses in seats.
Yeah. Hey, listen. It's funny because Triple H looked at him and said, "Come on, I'm going to put you like this." He had the Road Warriors down as number 5. Ric Flair is number 2. I think it was Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, the Road Warriors, Undertaker. I'm like, wait, whoa. So there's no Bret Hart, no Perfect.
Yes, that was Becky. Yeah, it was fucking Stephen. He's also the same one who said comment or whatever. I'm not going to do it.
No, so I'm just saying the fact of, another commentator who doesn't know nothing about the industry, who's going to run his mouth.
Don't you? No, Leland, don't be one of those people.
No, he's true, though. He knows how to get people talking for all the wrong reasons, just like we're talking about Jimmy Kimmel, but that's okay. All I can say is this, okay? Stephen A. Smith, you don't know nothing about the wrestling industry. Stay away from the wrestling industry. Your sport is basketball. Stay with basketball. Okay, you know
out of my wrestling.
You know how
and my UFC. Stay the fuck out of my MMA, Stephen A. Smith.
You know how to swap spit with basketball players. You go underneath their asses. You're fine with them. Stay with basketball. Stay out of the wrestling.
Don't fuck with LeBron James and get your ass whooped by LeBron James.
Correct,
I don't even like LeBron James.
Hey,
Michael Jordan is still the greatest player of all time.
You know nothing about the wrestling business.
Larry Bird was a shit.
The Great White Hope, but he knows nothing about the wrestling business. Stay out of the wrestling business. And if you're saying it just because you're trying to get, sponsors or people to talk about you and stuff like that, because, at one time he had a great podcast, but, he went liberal and all that kind of crap. And
it has nothing to do with him going liberal, man. You can believe what the fuck you want and still be an asshole. What's your excuse?
What? Hey, it's like I have somebody who was talking to me about that this week, and they were talking to me about personal things and stuff like that. I said, "Did you forget what company I grew up with?" Because they were talking about, substance abuse and stuff like that. And I said, it was an epitome of being around people with substance abuse.
Is that the company you're talking about? You work for Depends, right?
No, that's yours are on the way, by the way. Along with your kitty nap and stuff like that.
I like to fucking take a nap on the weekends. There's nothing wrong with that, Gerard. I like to sleep in. I think I deserve that.
I got your battery-powered cat on the way, too. So,
fucking dick.
But I'm saying it's the fact of, the course of the 4 major sports like to hide a lot of the inner demons that goes on in their industry. Professional wrestling used to glorify it. Think about that.
Pieces of shit.
They would glorify the inner demons of people, okay? As you
Perfect example, Scott Hall having a drinking problem.
Tourette's, the Goldberg, I'm sorry, the Goldust Tourette's problem and stuff like that. Okay. Don't get me wrong, it was a great gimmick, okay? But when you look at it as a whole, the entertainment and stuff like that, they've stretched the entertainment thing. Roddy Piper and Bad News Brown really stretched the entertainment thing. But guess what? People back then actually took it as entertainment. There was no racial barriers and stuff like that. It was just entertainment. I'm being entertained. These guys are doing what they're supposed to do. They're entertaining me. And that's the part of the wrestling business that I think we all enjoy. Is there still politics in the wrestling business? Absolutely. And you know who it's for nowadays? It's not the boys. It's the companies that are doing the rest. It's the companies that are doing the politicking nowadays instead of the boys. And you know what? If you heard Triple H, right? If you heard Triple H, when he was talking about how he gets his phone ringing about people leaving AEW wanting to come back. Hey, Triple H, keep your mouth shut about stuff like that. Okay? I want to be surprised. Said it before, I'm going to say it again. Kayfabe being gone has killed the wrestling industry. And it's sad. It will never come back. Can we get a few surprises here and there? Yes. WWE does it better than the others. Okay? Did the return we saw yesterday? Yeah, it's a feel-good moment on the return. But you know what? It's not like she's never come back before. The other one was 10 years in the making. And look at what she went through to make it back. That's a feel-good story.
Until the merch department leaked it.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't think it's hurting their bottom line.
Come on.
Hey, here's the thing. Other people are wearing her shirt out to the ring.
Which was a no-no back in the day.
Yeah.
During the Vince era.
Yeah, they're wearing her merch out to the ring because it's like, I'm not selling my shit.
Her best line still, I am your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler.
Think, that just...
I think he's a fan.
Hey, for somebody like you, because you're the same age as her, that should make you feel old.
I am old.
Then you're only the same age as her.
I take naps.
You what?
I take naps, huh?
And where it depends.
The fuck did that come from? You broke kayfabe, dick.
Hey, at nighttime, you take out your teeth too? But, anywho, listen, yeah, I understand. You sleep for 3 hours, cry like a baby, But when it comes to the whole thing as a whole, the views and opinions of the public is what makes...
I'm going to break kayfabe. Gerard doesn't wear pants when he does this podcast. He just hangs it out.
I'll stand up right now. I got my jorts on.
He's got his jorts on. He's trying to be like his hero, John Cena.
my childhood hero.
So wait, does that make you Don Cena? Because you got Ron and John, now you're Don Cena?
Juan,
you're Juan. There's already a Juan Cena out there. You know that, right? There you go, Leland. There you go.
Well,
you know how he didn't question that, right? Because he does his long white socks and his New Balances on.
I haven't worn white socks in. Holy smokes. Well, they all start out as white, but when I get them back on, they're never white.
Well, that was a great episode of the Marks Podcast. We're gonna have to go check fucking Gerard for fucking halitosis or some shit for his fucking feet. What the fuck?
Yeah, but I'm just saying the fact of these guys and girls in all companies.
Yeah, Leland, because he wipes his ass with them.
They're making a living right now with fun and doing what they want to do. And I was reading I was hearing a story about how it was Natty versus Charlotte back at the original NXT Brooklyn, and she was talking about how she had to go up to Triple H and say, "Hey, how much time? 20, 25 minutes, stuff like that." Triple H looked at her and said, "As much as you need." So there was no time limit, just as much as you need. She goes, "That was such a different approach."
Well, see, okay, so I know Bret Hart isn't the biggest fan of Triple H, right? He's never been the biggest. The shit He's a very bitter guy, but I think he has some reason to be bitter. He got fucked his whole life over fucking wrestling. For a guy he loved like a father to fucking the way he did. There would not be this fucking Vince McMahon character if it wasn't for the shit that started with Brett. But I agree that Brett has every right to be bitter. Fuck Bill Goldberg for ruining his career, in my opinion. Fuck Vince McMahon for fucking him over after the fucking Library of Classics.
I bet you Brett still cashed every paycheck, though.
Yeah, you know what, though? You know what's fucked up? They convinced Brett to come back after he had already got paid out by the Lords of London. And they told him, no, you're just going to basically be doing an interpretive dance. You're not going to be wrestling. They put on the match. The Lords of London sued him for over $1 million to get the money back because they said he was wrestling. Watch that fucking WrestleMania match. There was no wrestling in that. No. But because Vince put him in that match, because Vince couldn't just let it be, they had to have a fucking match because Vince can't just say, well, you pick a guy, I'll pick a guy. No. And I understand that they can say Brett could have said no, but fuck,
You know why that happened?
Then take care of your guy on the way out.
I'm going to tell you why it happened, because you had a similar situation like that happen with Kurt Hennig. Kurt Hennig was done wrestling, got paid out $12 million from Lords of London, left WWE, went to WCW. And what did he do with WCW?
Wrestled.
Lords of London told now they're like, wait a minute, hold on. We've already paid out the claim because that was basically against his future earnings, okay? But because he left WWE, they couldn't go back after WWF and say, well, no, WWF is not our guy anymore. But he already got the money. So by the time that comes, now Lords of London caught up to it, we're like, and by the way, if you ever gone and looked for a Lloyd's of London contract, they are not the freaking cheapest thing in the world to get.
No.
Oh my God. It's like $1,100 a month. I goes to show you, I have actually looked into them before.
He really thinks he's worthy of a Lords of London fucking contract. Look at him.
Oh, put this way.
He does play baseball. He plays senior citizen baseball,
And that was, when I looked into it, that was 30 years ago. Okay. But I'm just saying is the fact of,
he was playing senior citizen baseball 30 years ago. So see, that tells you how
all those contracts that they used to do back then, a lot of the guys got them. You know what, though? A lot of the guys never got them because they just thought it'd be the
regardless, Gerard, fucking Brett should have been taken care of on the way out. No different than we argued. Huh?
The injury didn't happen in WWE, though.
I understand that, but because he went and did what Vince asked and how he fucked him all those years ago, and he got fucked doing a fucking match for Vince at WrestleMania, he could have fucking said, you know what, Brett, that's on me. I may have fucked you the last time, but I'm not going to let you fuck this time. Let me take care of you on the back end here.
Put it this way.
He had no problem giving money to his fucking mistresses.
Like I said, has he ever not cashed a check from WWE?
He worked for him.
No, what I'm saying is the fact of he was so mad about himself like that. He still cashed every check they ever sent to his
house. He worked for them. Why wouldn't he cash the check?
I'm saying is if he was so mad at the company, why would he take the check?
Fuck you, pay me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You gotta eat, motherfucker. Fuck you, pay me.
You can't complain about being mad on one hand.
Anyway, you know what? You tied me on a tangent. Fucking hold on. Never mind. I was getting to something. Anyway, sorry. Full circle. Brett doesn't like Triple H.
Okay.
But Brett also made the comment years ago, how is it people like fucking Michael Hayes and all these other guys that are fucking booking shit and they never won the big one? They were never fucking prominent. You don't have the Ric Flairs that are bookers. You have fucking Michael P.S. fucking Hayes. I was never as good as fucking Gino Hernandez, fucking shit like that. You got these guys in the back booking who never fucking drew a fucking dime, but they thought they were the biggest thing in fucking wrestling. Then you had Triple H.
Michael P.S. Hayes never drew a dime by himself.
Exactly.
In the group he was in, though.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But you have these guys that are telling you how to fucking wrestle and how it's supposed to be done, but they never were the big fucking fish. They're always the little tiny fishes that are sucking on other motherfuckers' dicks. Triple H was the man. Triple H held that belt. Triple H was the main event of WrestleMania multiple times. And when you have a guy like that taking over for fucking NXT, you were bound to fucking draw money. He was right. Bret Hart was right to say that absolutely when someone who actually was a big player would take over and look after the youth and stop worrying about themselves, then they could get over. And he did it. Oh shit, I didn't do it. He did it.
Let me ask you this. How do you think?
She has a question, Gerard.
Who?
I have a question for both y'all because I feel stupid because I don't understand the context. So in that latest interview with Bret Hart, and he's bagging on Triple H,
Yeah.
he said that he wishes that Triple H had been in the locker room after the Montreal screw job when he punched Vince, because he said if he had been, he may not have been married to Stephanie. What does that mean?
It was gonna fuck him up so bad he would have never fucking married Stephanie.
Oh, I was like, what?
You know what happened then, right? You know the story about how that went down?
What? How he punched Vince in the locker room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically,
And Sean was crying like a bitch. Yeah.
and Sean was crying like a bitch. So apparently, what happened, and this has come out later, Vince, Sean, and Hunter were all sitting there talking. What are we going to do with this? What are we going to do? And it was Sean was like, I don't know. And it was Hunter that said, and this is why Brett's always had a fucking if with him. My understanding. Again, I wasn't there. I'm not Gerard. I wasn't working. Fuck him. If he doesn't want to do business, we'll do business for him. So Brett, from my understanding, has always had heat with with Paul Levesque because it was him ultimately that convinced Vince to say, "Fuck that guy, we'll do it our way."
Well, here's my thing about that, okay? And I hope you understand what I mean by this. It was a time-honored tradition of doing business the right way, okay?
Yep. Oh, you're not going to tell me that they were right by this, right?
I think all parties were wrong. Is that fair to say?
Okay.
The way it was gone about doing was wrong. The way Brett wanted to do it was wrong. There was no right or wrong way.
There was. And here's how, look. You work for the company you work for, and you've done everything you can for that company, right? But they decide, you know what? We're going to fuck you on the way out. Fuck you, Gerard. Fuck everything you've ever done. We don't give a shit.
30 years. Congratulations. A computer just took your job.
A computer just took your job, baby. Hard times is when a company comes to a man after 30 years, and say a computer took your job, baby. Give you a slap on the watch, a slap on the ass, and a wristwatch.
So they can tell you what time they knocked you out the door. But I'm just saying is, though, my thing about that was, like I say, everybody all around, because the communication back then sucked.
Well, no, they fucked with him. They got Earl at the fucking door, as they said. And look, it was a fucked up situation, and it did lead to great things like Stone Cold Steve Austin and all that because the Vince McMahon character was created. But ultimately, think about this. Brett said he'd drop it to Steve, he'd drop it to Taker, he'd drop it to anybody but fucking Sean. And the reason he said that, it wasn't that he wasn't trying to fucking do business. Sean told him
he wouldn't do it to him.
He would not do it for him. And, you can't do that to a guy who's old school. And Sean knew that. Sean was still doing the fucking Sunny Day shit. The motherfucker was married and he was trying to fuck with his marriage. Sean, out of his own fucking mouth, was a piece of shit back then. And when you take a guy like Brett, who had been a fucking staple, a workhorse in the era that the steroids had ended, and you can't find very many bad Bret Hart matches. They're technical master classes. And he got fucked. Bret Hart, for all intents and purposes, in my opinion, has every right to be a fucking asshole because he kind of got fucked. He's bitter. I get that. Do I think Triple H has done an amazing job? Yes. But the sins of the father are still carrying on because Vince fucked a man who was loyal to him.
And see, Bret Hart is still part of a Legends contract, right?
Fuck, I don't know.
And so let's say he is. It's one of the things. It was like seeing Eric Bischoff on WWE to see Bret Hart come back. Okay,
I can agree with that.
It was something
see, hold on. You said something the other day that really fucking rubbed me the wrong way. You said that Vince coming back on TV was no different than saying Eric Bischoff coming back. That is fucking wrong. You've lost your mind.
No. What I'm saying is this. You do not give that guy a microphone. He comes out, all he's there for. Like, my question is, why should he be barred from going to an event if he wants to go to an event?
Who?
Vince.
Because he was done nothing but bring that company shame.
No. If he was sitting in the audience and
but
if he wants, hey, put it this way, he can still be a fan of the product. I'm just saying, as a fact of, or do you get the Booker T reaction? Tell me I need to see that. When he saw Eric Bischoff walk in the door. He should not be ostracized from the industry, because I'll tell you this right now. If I'm Tony Khan, I'd be calling up Vince every day. Hey, what can I do for you to get you to show your face?
Why? I'd be calling Simba. I'd be calling Shane. I would not be calling fucking
what
Vince.
I was going to say is, let's go back to Eric Bischoff's book. Controversy creates cash. Why not? What do you think to lose? What do you think to lose? He has more money than the guy.
He has so much. He has the ability right now. Tony Khan has the ability to have a credibility like he's never had before by sticking up for the fucking fans and doing the right thing and trying to make sure that they're able to see a hell of a wrestling show at a premium quality price.
What I'm going to say is, how long of a chant would you have? Holy shit! Just to see Vince McMahon on an AEW broadcast.
People will walk out.
He says nothing. He's just sitting in the audience.
At AEW? Fuck that. You've lost your mind.
I'm because the rumor is, what if Shane showed up again?
I think that would be a great idea. Shane wants the ability to prove his father wrong, in my opinion. He wants the ability to say, Dad, I can make Huh?
Don't we all?
Fair, but I'm saying like that's what Shane wants.
I don't know if any kid that never wants to prove his father wrong.
Yeah, even more fucking proof why I think Vince is the piece of shit. Dude, you tell your son, your amazing, cool ass fucking son, current world record holding son that you have, badass motherfucking son you have. You know what? Stick the fucking steak knife right here, motherfucker. I don't give a damn if you drove all that way. Stick the knife right here. Would you do that to your son?
Yeah, I would, because I know his fragile hands, he'd stab himself.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You are such a prick. You're definitely going for the heel. Shout out to the son of Gerard Mullet, Jerry Mullet, sack of shit.
It's not too often I get the wife to crack up like that. She got a good laugh out of it.
You're such an ass. Your son is amazing. It's cool. And your daughter, love her to death from what I've seen. But how they put up with you all these years?
Because they can just get up and walk away. Well, wait a minute.
See, that's why, one of these days we got to post those pictures of us at the fucking steakhouse. But having Jerry here, they love us because we got him away from them for a long time. They got a vacation from Jerry.
Thank you for taking him away from him.
Jesus.
But,
so we got about a minute left. How do you want to close it out? What you got? What's your final fucking word for this week's episode? What episode are we on now? 48? 44? We got 6 episodes away from 50.
My final word, we just have to go back to that. Don't let freedom of speech get in your way of, living your life.
No.
And, it's good that we can have a thing like this, say whatever we want, do whatever we want. At the end of the day, people just remember one thing. We're only out here spewing talk.
Yeah, and then, I'm glad, I'm going to get a little sappy with you. It's almost been a year since we met. Like, we're coming up. It's over a year now?
Yeah, August 31st, you Nimrod.
Jesus, fuck. And I'll tell you, it's been an honor, and I don't say that to be funny. It's been a fucking honor to meet and know you, Jerry. You're probably one of my closest friends because I don't keep a lot of fucking friends. I came to you with this idea, for me, you and the kid to do this show. It has had ups, it's had downs. We have shows that are lost to the ether, But it's always been us shooting the shit and doing what we did from the first time we ever met, and that's just talking about a business that we both love with all of our hearts. And whether you see this right here or you see it in the fucking replay, I can't thank the people that come and watch this, because we get the same amount of views about every week, so it's got to be the same people coming and watching. But I can't thank y'all enough for dedicating some of your time to come fuck with us goofy sons of bitches as we talk about the fucking thing we all love, which is wrestling.
I'm just saying, before we hang up, I talked to the GOAT today too. So
how's the GOAT doing?
Yeah, I told him, I said, great, you got to work today. I get the day off, and I'm going to go watch football.
You're such a fucking dick. He took the time to do a fucking intro and outro for us, and I feel like she's just going to cut me off. But
he hates it when I remind him that I get to have the day off and he got to go to work.
Why are you such a fucking dick? He didn't do shit. He actually showed up and was helpful to us and everything, and you're just a fucking ass.
He's still a fan of a New York team.
All of you Marks have been listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.